Good morning, you guys. Have you got your cup of coffee yet? If not, go ahead, get you a cup of coffee, come back and sit down. I'll be sitting here waiting for you drinking mine, okay? We're going to talk about porosity levels. And this is something that I feel like is very vital to talk about in the natural hair community because as we learn to take control of our hair again and our natural self and who we really are, because it's definitely a beautiful self-reflective journey to allow yourself to turn back to the natural way you were, created. You know what I'm saying? So before we get into learning porosity, I'm going to show you a couple strands of different porosity levels and different strands of clients' hair that I have, and then we're going to talk about it a little bit more. Okay, this is going to be a 3-part series video. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about porosity levels and how you can determine your porosity levels this video. The next video, I want to talk about what products are better for your hair, what products to avoid for your hair. And the third video, we're going to talk about how to manipulate your hair, because having different porosity levels, you want to manipulate your hair a little different according to what's best for you, because you have some people who have low porosity hair, which their hairs is more, we'll get into it a little bit later, but their hair, you have to manipulate it a different way as opposed to someone who has high porosity hair and things like that. Okay, so we're going to go and talk about manipulation, how to detangle, shampoo, things like that in the third video of this series. Right now we're just going to talk about porosity. Anyway, let's get to the video. So porosity. What is porosity? Porosity is the ability to absorb moisture in the hair. And that's the simplest way I could get it to you. It's the ability to absorb moisture, because you have low porosity, you have medium to normal porosity, and you have high porosity hair. First, let's talk about low porosity hair. Low porosity hair does not take moisture well. It's like the cuticles of it is really, really tight, so it's hard to manipulate the hair shaft to receive water, moisture, anything like that. It's kind of like when you see a duck on the pond and they jump in the water and all the water just flow off a duck's back like real easily and it look like it's not even wet. Same kind of ordeal with low porosity hair. It takes a minute for that water to really penetrate the hair shaft. So because of that, you deal with a lot more buildup more frequently in your hair. Your products, you notice that like oil and stuff, or your products just sit on top of your hair. So picture it just kind of sitting on top of there. If you have that problem, kind of stay tuned a little. Also, what was the one I wanted to say? I said you can't penetrate water. Your products sit on top of your hair. You get more buildup. And I have mommy brain right now. Darn it. You are, there you go. Thank you, Father. You should be afraid of protein. Okay, I'm drinking my little coffee, and I want that to settle out. I want that to sit in there. Okay. Anything with protein treatment, protein this, protein that, even keratin, you want to tread very lightly with that, because protein and keratin are like fillers, not necessarily fillers per se of what you hear about, like different elements of products where naturalists be like, oh, you don't want all those fillers and stuff. So it's not necessarily like that. But what I'm saying is, you know how we talked about those fish scales? Some hair shaft is actually missing cuticles within the hair shaft. So it feels really rigid. You know what I'm saying? And protein helps to fill that back up and give your hair strength. You know, it's kind of like in the body. It's a strong element to help coat and strengthen whatever it's being added to in the body or whatever, right? So low porosity hair has a problem with receiving protein. If you do protein, you need to maybe do it once a month. Okay, and later on in this series, we're going to talk about what you should do in the meantime to help your hair. But just kind of take that into consideration right now, okay? So then now we have normal porosity hair. Normal porosity hair is exactly how it sounds. It's normal. So it can easily receive moisture. Water penetrates it pretty evenly and distributes it throughout the hair shaft pretty evenly. It can retain the water and the moisture. It has the ability to go through protein treatments. Most of the cuticles are very smooth, but they're still lifted slightly to where product and moisture can be penetrated into the hair shaft. Pretty much like that. It has good elasticity, which means like the bounce of your hair and the shrinkage. I know we're afraid of shrinkage, but if you have good shrinkage, that is a very, very, very great sign that you are on the road or have been on the road of having healthy hair. Okay, so don't be afraid of the shrinkage. I know it's an interesting part of our journey, but it is a beautiful thing to have. So you have great elasticity if you have normal porosity hair. You know what I'm saying? Your drying time, that's what we need to talk about too. The drying time. So twist your hair up or whatever, how long it takes to dry is about even. It distributes pretty well. You don't have to worry about it. Back up to low porosity hair, it takes them forever to dry their hair. And their hair, honey, if you natural, you're trying to do a retwist, a braid out or a twist out, and you want to go somewhere, you need to do that about a few days ahead of time. Don't be trying to rush yourself. And if you got a hair dryer, you still need to be trying to do that like the night before, or you need to wake up, crack of dawn, and start trying to do your hair regimen, because your hair, it takes a minute for it to dry. So you might mess around and have some damp twists in there. So anyway, fast forward to normal porosity. You have about even amount of distributing drying time, and that's good. And now we're at high porosity hair. And high porosity hair is high porosity, their cuticles are high up. Okay, so that means that as easily as the water and moisture and products can penetrate into the hair, it can leave out fast. So you deal with drying a lot faster. Dry hair a lot faster. Seems like your hair just eats up product, eats up moisture. You deal with a lot more frizz in your hair. The water and everything can penetrate, don't get me wrong, but like I said, as easily as it penetrates, it can dry back out because your cuticles are lifted. So it's not allowing that hair, the product and the water to penetrate in and stay in and coat. It just leaves right out. You know what I'm saying? What else? Because mommy brain, I had to, got my little notes here, even though I'm pretty much where we need to go. Absorb moisture easily, loses moisture easily, looks dull and dry. I already said that. Tends to be frizzy, and it may tangle easily. That's the last one I didn't have on there. And it does have you do deal with tangle easily. Now, I'm high porosity. My hair is high porosity. It used to be normal, but after I had got pregnant and had my son, and my hair began to kind of change because of the hormonal changes in my body, I started to notice that I dealt with high porosity. Did a test, because we're going to do a test. And I noticed I had high porosity. So let's talk about the porosity test. So as you just heard, those are some of the ways you can just, notice the trace of your hair and see which porosity level you sit in. And then also you have the porosity hair strand test. And pretty much what that is you get a clear glass. You want to make sure it's a clear glass or a clear cup. Pour about tepid room temperature water in it, and take a strand of your hair, maybe from like your brush or somewhere where it sheds. Our hair sheds at least 100 strands a day, so you can probably just put your hands in there and a strand of hair come out. Pop it in that cup, let it sit for about 3 to 5 minutes, and then look at the level of where your hair is. Is it floating on top of the cup? Is it in the middle of the water? Like right in the middle of the water, or kind of sinking towards the middle, not all the way at the bottom? Or is it at the very bottom of the cup? And that's very important to notice. So you want to look at the cup, maybe eyesight level, to where this is the bottom of the cup, this is the top, and you're looking at it to see exactly where it's at. You don't want to confuse yourself by looking on top of it or too far beneath it. You want to look right eye level with the cup, okay? So here's a cup here, and I have water in here, and I also have strands. I have one strand from a client and another strand of hair from a client. I already have 2 strands of hair in here. And I'm gonna get up close and I'm gonna show the cup so you can see it yourself, what's going on. But one of them is floating up top. It stayed up top, it's floating. And the other quickly sunk to the very bottom. Now I want to put my hair strands in there, but my hair is braided. So hopefully by the next series, because I do plan on taking these braids out very soon, by the next series, my hair will be out and I can do a strand test for you guys as well, and you can see what's going on with my hair. But yeah, so here's our cup. So anyway, high porosity hair, it sinks very fast. So in this cup, we have one strand that's all the way at the bottom. It sinks because remember, it easily absorbs water and moisture very quickly. It's very easily to penetrate. The other is floating up top. So that means that the porosity level is low. Remember, the low porosity, it's hard for it to penetrate. Water and moisture can't penetrate in low porosity hair very easily. It has to be heated. So it's best to do, again, we're going to get into it in the next series, but I'm going to just drop some gems on you now to just kind of get you ready. It's best to do like steam treatments or deep conditioners where you're under a heating jar with a cap to where that heat can help penetrate your hair shaft and your strands, you know, to help you get that moisture retained into your hair. I wish I had one right in the middle, but we don't. But I'll definitely do some more soon. Like I said, I'm going to do the video where you can see where they both are sitting right now. Okay, so with that being said, how about you go ahead and do a strand test? So, like I said, get a cup, make sure it's clear, put a little bit of room temperature water into it, and get a strand of hair from like a brush or a comb or something, pop it in there for a couple minutes and see where yours lay. And then post it at the bottom in the comments below what porosity level your hair was. Before I go, I meant to talk about it, mommy braid again. Anyway, if any of the hair strands would have been floating in the middle, that would have been normal porosity. So if you have normal to medium porosity hair, you're going to notice that it sinks kind of slightly, but it kind of lingers in the middle of the cup. That means it evenly, like I said before, it evenly distributes moisture throughout the whole strand. So, yeah, do your strand test. I'm glad that we tuned in. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe if you want to know more. Click that bell if you need any post notifications for the next series. The next series will be released the next Monday. So be looking for that. My son is waking up right on time. I love you all. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to leave my social media accounts down below, so go ahead and follow me on all my other social media accounts, and we'll see you again. Peace, love, and shalom. Bye. Show you how you have that one that's still floating. And then you have one that's sunk all the way down here, but it kind of slightly floats, but it's more sunken. You see how it's just sunken. And these have been sitting in this water for about 8 to 10 minutes now. So it is definitely done its thing. So there you go.